Okay, so I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3, and I've recently run into a bug, and
Premium trinkets
this
and
bug really
doodads.
is quite possibly the worst thing to run into in this kind of a game. And the bug is that I cannot talk to any NPCs, right? Maybe somehow I'll get it working here and then look like an idiot, but you see here, if I click on them, nothing happens, right? If I go and try
Last
to
night's
talk to
best
them, nothing
bargains
happens.
right here.
And it's not a problem with this menu either, because I can examine them, the menu shows up just fine, right? And if I really wanted to, I could try attacking it, and that
You
worked.
were witnessed assaulting someone. You're headed for the
See?
cells.
Um, and just cause, why not? Like, obviously, I'm gonna go back to a different save, because this is bugged, right? Like, so I have 22 hours in the game. Let's be honest and say like a couple of those hours are probably just AFK time because, I have been pretty sick, and so sometimes I'll just log on, load in, and just go lay down, right? So probably a couple of those hours are like, you know, just from that. So, maybe like 16 hours, 18 of those are real gameplay. Um, maybe even a little bit less, who knows? But that's still a pretty decent amount of time. Like, I'm level 6, halfway to the max level, because max level I think is 12. And I'm in the Shadow Cursed Lands, which isn't... I don't think it's Act 2, because I never got like a notification saying like this is a different act. But there is like before going in, it says, oh, tidy up any loose ends, and then you kind of go in, right? So like I'm feel like I'm pretty decent, a decent ways in to like this first half, right? But I could be wrong about that. But even still,
Let's see what I can
like,
bring.
this is definitely something that you don't want to run into, right? You don't want to run into a bug that makes it so you can't talk to anyone this far into
Last
the
night's
game.
best bargains
Like,
right here.
I feel like this is a like a game-breaking bug, right? Now, even still, what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm not going to stop playing the game. Instead, I'm probably just going to make a new character and go through the game again, because this game is incredibly fun. Like, I've been having a fantastic time with
Don't
this
be
game,
shy. Have a gander.
and it's been a blast. It's basically been the only thing that I've been playing for a while, and like, it's just been great. Once again, I've been sick, so I haven't actually, been able to play as much as I would like, but for the most part, like, I'm just playing this and maybe playing, a few, online games with a friend here and there. So, but this has definitely become my main game for the moment. And it's an absolute blast. I love it. I'm definitely glad that I went out of my way to try some games that are similar to it. Like, obviously there are better games that I could have tried that are more closely related. Like, I could have tried games that were made by the same studio, but to me, the minutia of how everything works across the different kinds of CRPGs didn't really matter to me. What I was more interested in was the fundamentals of the turn-based combat, because that was the most, like, foreign thing to me. So having a baseline understanding of that was good enough, and I was able to hop into the game and have fun with turn-based combat, which, you know, I wasn't expecting to have fun when I first tried it. When I first tried turn-based games of this type, and I did, so to me that was a sign that I would have fun with this. And that was absolutely true. The spells are incredibly fun. There are a lot of really silly ones, like Vicious Mockery, where you literally insult someone, and it does damage to them. Like, that's great. Thorn Whip also is pretty fun. You can stand on ledges, like, let's say there's like a chasm between you and an enemy. You just Thorn Whip them and then pull them into the chasm and send them to their deaths, basically. So, really fun. You can even use this on really large monsters. Like, this says the target can't be pulled if it is huge in size. Obviously, there are limitations, but I mean, this thing worked on the like fire elemental near the forge in the Underdark, and that thing had like 95 health and was pretty big, and this thing worked on it. So, you know, how big they have to be for this to stop working, I don't really know, but I'm assuming they have to be pretty big. Like, it didn't work on the like, Forge Master, but still. To be honest, I don't think I ever really tried it, but chances are it wouldn't have worked. But yeah. So I've done a pretty decent amount of stuff, done a lot of side content, and had an absolute blast. And to me, the most compelling thing about this game is the characters. All of the characters in this game are very interesting, and this is why not being able to talk to any of them is such a, like, detrimental thing. Because all the characters are really interesting to talk to. Well, not all of them, because, you know, all of these, like, kind of side NPCs, they usually just have, like, a few lines to say, and then that's it, right? But they never say anything that is, that breaks the immersion, right? And even the, like, main characters, or characters that have more dialogue options, it never feels like they drone on, right? Which is something that happens a lot in other games, is you'll be talking to someone and then you'll just, you know, wonder when is it gonna end, you know, when is the dialogue gonna end. And that doesn't really happen in this game.
Don't waste a step.
Like, I've never run into a character that I've just wanted to shut up and, like, skip their dialogue. Obviously, the second time through, you know, it's definitely gonna be the case, but for the first time, like, listening to someone, I've never just listened to someone and been like, wow, this guy is really annoying, let me just skip. And that's definitely happened to me in other games. So, I think the voice acting for all the characters is really well done. And talking to animals has got to be the most fun thing that you can do in this game, to be honest. Because it is great. Especially because you just don't know what to expect. You know? Like, I used this... The first time I used this was to talk to some spiders, because I was in the goblin camp, and I saw a guy get kicked down into this lair with 2 giant spiders, and I was like, okay, that seems interesting. I wonder if I can talk to them. And so I used this, and then I figured out a way to get down in there, and then I talked to them. And then they were like, hey, I'm gonna eat you, right? Like, hey, come closer to me, I want to eat you, right? You know, I want to frickin', you know, wrap you in webs and sink my teeth into you. And then I was just like, what if you did that to a goblin instead of me, alright? So you just use a persuasion to, you know, convince them that they shouldn't eat you, and they should go eat goblins instead. So, you know, that was fun. And then it became, how can I open up this gate? Because I managed to get in there without opening the gate to, like, the, like, spider nest. And I spent, like, a ridiculous amount of time trying to unlock the gate, but I couldn't because the goblins were watching me, and every time it'd be like, hey, you can't do this, you know? So it became a game of, like, how can I get these spiders out of here without, you know, you know, having to restart the scenario, which eventually I had to because I got stuck. I couldn't open the door and get out myself, and I didn't have any spells or anything to get me out of there. So eventually I had to just load a save. But stuff like that is just really fun, you know, like talking to animals and be like, I wonder what the fuck this guy is gonna say and what he's gonna sound like. You know, I ended up talking to like a bull, and you know, had a conversation with it and was like, hey, what do you know about, you know, such and such? And then just listening to it give some like backstory and history, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm really old, I've been alive for a really long time. And it was just really cool. Like, that stuff is awesome. And it was genuinely talking with animals has been like the most fun for me. Like, all of the regular like human NPCs, they're good. Like, they're great actually. But it's just the animals that knock it out of the park for me, because once again, you just don't know what to expect when you go talk to them. Sometimes the voice matches with the animal, but sometimes it doesn't, and it's great. Like the squirrel, I think, was easily the one where it's like, this is not how I expected a squirrel to sound. The spider was like, okay, yeah, I could a spider, I could expect a spider to sound like that. I talked to a frog,
Where that came from.
and that one was pretty fun too. He showed me some treasure, so that was cool.
Or steel.
But you know, that stuff is just really great.
Bloody armor.
Another thing that I really like is all the scrolls and, you know, the different effects, and also just combining like what items you have with whatever's in the environment. Like, I have a ridiculous amount of items. I should probably get rid of most of these, but figuring out like ways of you know, using the environment to your advantage and all this kind of stuff. Like this oil barrel here, like you can pick these up and, you know, keep them in your inventory to use at a perfect time, right? You just take it out, you know, put a smoke powder bomb down next to it, and then just blow it up with a fireball. Like, there's a lot of creativity, and it's just really freaking fun. Like, there isn't really a good way of saying it besides that. It's just a load of fun. But, yeah, this bug of not being able to talk to anyone really just sucks. Hopefully it gets fixed soon so I can keep playing this character. But, I'm probably just gonna have to start a new character, which I'm perfectly fine with doing because I've been having a blast the entire time. But anyway, that's pretty much all that I wanted to say about Baldur's Gate 3. It's a blast.